Hello friends, and welcome to the Gamer Down. This is your host, Dark Hostess, and today we are looking at Conspiracy 2, Lethal Networks. Sounds interesting, huh? It is interesting. It's by foreign developer Anima PPD Interactive. So, all of the cutscenes in this game are dubbed in English, so you'll notice that the lips do not match with the voices a lot of the time. So that is one thing. But this is a very interesting game. It uses live action actors, and it boasts over 80 actors in this game. And while the acting does seem acceptable, they do not seem like professional actors. It seems more like people from around the office, were asked to act into this thing, So let's check out some of this intro and see what this game is all about.
Manifestations against Earth joining the Peripheral Galactic Alliance (PGA) occurred at the return of the Prime Minister of Earth, Jorge Pis, from the capital of the Peripheral Galactic Alliance, Galactia. The Prime Minister had meetings during 3 days with many top government executives of the Peripheral Galactic Alliance, as well as with the PGA President, Elo Serenius, regarding new arrangements that must be done to the Earth legislation in order to converge to the laws of the Peripheral Galactic Alliance. Manifestators believe the subject of exploitation by politically powerful planets of PGA such as Vector and Tyrannus, as well as of planets in the area of the nebula Jaula. Mr. Jorge Pis declared that Earth will definitely proceed and immediately formed a committee of legal advisors on interplanetary law in order to study the case. The General Director of the Federal Police of the Earth, Delios, declared that despite difficulties concerning manifestators, the federal officers once more managed to deal with them.
Well, that was pretty damn weird and didn't really reveal much information. And now the actual game begins.
Well, our boy is back home. Have you found your way at last?
Have a nice day.
Is this a nice day? Don't you know how many rents you owe?
And you can see you are presented with your first choices, but it doesn't really seem to matter which one you pick. It just kind of plays out a
Dear
different
landlady
scenario.
of this house, these last few days I've had too much work. I know that I have some loose ends, but I promised to do my best to.
You will do your best? I've heard this story before. You will not do anything at all. I've made up my mind. You're out of this house. Here, the eviction notice. Now you'll see. Take your things and go. You're leaving right away.
She threw me out. She locked the door. What am I to do now? Where to go? That's why ex-loves exist. I'll go to Annita. She has plenty of space. I just hope I haven't promised anything she'll be asking for.
And that is the gimmick for this game. Live action actors in the actual game, which is something they used to do way back in the 90s. There used to be a lot of games that would use live action actors, and then it really died off, and it seems to be making a bit of a resurgence lately. This isn't the only game I've heard about, like they've been inserting live actors once again into these types of games. And this game is a point-and-click adventure game, basically. You can walk around, which is nice. You aren't burdened with just walking with your mouse. You're able to actually walk around. But the principles are still the same. You find objects, and you combine those objects to solve puzzles.
Villa Amarilla. Huge. Cute little house.
And here we go. As you can see, that there's a huge contrast between the game models compared to the real life actors, and that is one reason that real life actors generally aren't used, or barely ever, because there is such a mismatch. Once you look at the actual scenery, you go from realistic, real life graphics, and then you are presented with lackluster graphics. I mean, while these graphics are fairly nice, we've all seen better. We've all seen a lot better graphics than this, and it's a stark contrast going from the live action to these types of graphics. And one thing is for certain: this game is not easy. This is not an easy puzzle game. I found this game to be quite difficult, and it boasts 36 hours of gameplay. And I hope that those 36 hours don't constitute just looking around for obscure objects. That's one thing that I really didn't like about this game, is that it was very hard to find the objects you needed. It's not very intuitive whatsoever.
Locked.
You're just sort of plopped right, in the middle of this area with really no idea. You do see these objects. This area seems so bland. I guess they didn't want to overload it with objects, so you'd really get terribly lost. But I was fairly terribly lost from the beginning. You go to every door, everything is locked, and that's a lot of damn doors to have to go and walk around the whole house. And that's exactly what people are going to do. And so you're given these objects, and there's really not a whole lot of information about them. You're given some clippers, and then this is a large area to use those clippers in. It could be for anything, and there's no lit clues or anything. There's no hints, so you're just basically on your own, and some of the objects are just very, very hard to find. This game is basically a treasure hunt. You will spend so much time looking for what you need. And I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. It borders more on frustration than entertainment or being a challenge. It's just frustration. You walk through an area over and over and over, and then you find what you need, a little tiny speck on the ground. That's just bull. It's not very fun. And this game is just not intuitive. Of course, you have your hedge clippers, and you see a plant, and you imagine, well, I'll use those hedge clippers with this plant, and you get a stick. And it's like, what do I do with the stick now? I have a stick and I have some clippers, and you just I kept going around and around this place, around and around this house here, looking for these obscure objects. I kept looking at my inventory and trying to figure out how exactly to use these objects and what exactly I was supposed to be doing. I know I was supposed to get in this house some way, but how do you do it? There's not really any clues whatsoever, and that is very important if you're going to make a game like this. You have to lead the player. You cannot expect them to know what's in your own mind when you're developing this game, and that's what a lot of developers do. It's a huge mistake they make. They think that you're going to know all the things that they know in their heads, and it's a huge assumption, of course, and it's just not true, and people are not going to be able to figure out these hard puzzles like this. While I am a fan of point-and-click adventure puzzle-solving games, I'm not a huge fan of unintuitive ones, and I spent just way too much time in this front area. And I would have never solved it myself. I had to resort to going online and checking out the walkthrough. So that is an indicator that this game is going to be a problem right off the bat when you can't even get past the very first area, And one of the largest problems I had was just finding what I needed, I have a lighter, I have some clippers, and I have a piece of wood. So it was like, okay, I have these things and I can't combine them, so what next? And it wasn't for a lack of trying. I tried my hardest to solve these puzzles, these beginning puzzles, and I couldn't. And it was because I didn't have the objects I needed, because I couldn't find them. I went around and around and around this house. I can't tell you how many times, and just looking everywhere, looking on every single bench, and I was just like, man, this is getting effing frustrating. It's like, do I have all my clues now? Do I have all my objects now? And it was just, so frustrating, because you were not given really any kind of, hint whatsoever, and you're just plopped down, and you're expected to know all these things that you're not going to know, like that you're supposed to go behind the bench and get the tennis ball and cut the tennis ball, and then make a slingshot. They're just assuming way too much. And as you can see, this is the traveling system that you eventually get to, and where you can travel to the different locations trying to solve this mystery. This is a very tough puzzle game. If you're looking for a huge challenge, you might, get off on something like this. I know some people that really enjoy very difficult games, and I would put this one right up there. I would put this very high on the list of tough games, and it's just mainly because the things are so obscure to find, and I don't know if that would constitute being a tough game. It's just a matter of who has the best eyes, and if you saw the few little pixels on the ground that you needed to click on, And a few things just kind of don't make sense. You're sitting here ringing the doorbell, and, nothing. And there's like nobody in the house. And then as soon as you solve the puzzle, there's like, two people there. And it's like I sat at the front door and rang that doorbell like a madman, like, come on, you bitch, answer this frickin' door. And no, that didn't happen. And you see, I got that strap off the bottom of this umbrella. I went around this place, like I said, 1,000,000 times, whatever. I went around it too many times. And I find the object I need underneath the umbrella, and it's a little strap. And that's just effing frustration. That's not really exactly fun, to just hunt for something that you don't even know what you're really looking for. And I didn't know what I was looking for. I had no clue at all. I'm just walking around. There's nothing is highlighted. It's that way through the entire game. And after bitching about all the difficulty, I just read, just now that they have added a patch for this game for the non-hardcore adventurers, I really don't see how you could even solve this game without some damn help. It's just way too inside the developer's head. I mean, the clues are just not intuitive whatsoever. A lot of the times, they just don't make any sense. And anyway, according to this, it says that this patch, by pressing the tab key, you're going to have a red arrow that will guide you to what you need. So it looks like they have realized really quickly that this game was way too damn hard for the average player. And I don't know how you could really solve this game without some damn help. As you see, there's the tennis ball I needed. It's hidden way behind this one object, and this is a giant area. I mean, this around this house is huge, and to just keep going over and over around this, you have to make like a grid pattern, and I don't really find that a challenge, I just find that more of a, lack of good game development, really. I know they have added this so-called hint system that I have not had the pleasure of using yet. I guess I'll go patch this game and see what that's all about. But, if you're trying to use this to do this game, on your own, you're going to have a lot of difficulty. That is something that even the guy who wrote the walkthrough here has said. He said this game is friggin' hard, and I totally agree with him 100%. This game is very, very hard. While normally I completely applaud games that are difficult, because gamers aren't stupid. They need a challenge, and a lot of the games out there are just way, way too easy, and they lead you by the nose, and you're ridden on rails. You're not on any real rails in this game, because you're just going to spend most of your time trying to find what you need, and the areas you have to cover are just way too large to find what you need. And if you like these types of games where you spend a lot of your time just hunting for what you need, hunting for the tennis ball, hunting for the one object in 1,000 that you need. And, it's not impossible. You're going to just spend just a lot of time hunting for objects. So, if you find that to be difficult and a challenge, then you might really like this, But you see, like, these little rocks. I've passed them so many times, and it turns out you need some of these rocks. But who would have known? They just completely blend into the scenery. And if you do not use the hint system, which they've supposedly added to the game, then I don't know how you would really have figured it out. I figured it out by using a walkthrough that was on the internet. And then it becomes more like watching a movie when you start having to use a walkthrough. And I really don't like that. And when you start having to use hints and things like that, and I would have to use that hint system way too much. I know that, that's what it's there for, but I would be using it constantly because the puzzles for this game don't make any sense. You would not know what you need to know. I'll use this one example. You have to find a memory stick in one of the drawers inside the house. And you have a little blue device, which is kind of like an MP3 player slash, it doesn't really say, and you use these memory sticks in this MP3 player or whatever. And you have to play that thing right by the correct door to get the door to open. And then you have to proceed to another puzzle to get that door open, the same door. Yeah, it's just way, way too friggin' hard. So, after much, much frustration, and having to finally consult the walkthrough, I figured out how to assemble my slingshot and get everything together. It was just way, way too hard. If 36 hours of gameplay is what they boast, and I have a sneaky feeling that a lot of those hours are spent just hunting for what you need, hunting for bullcrap. And not only do you have to combine the right objects, you have to know that you have to right and left click them in your inventory so they are ready. Like you see how it's ready like that? I had to go back and consult the walkthrough once again because I couldn't get the slingshot to work. I kept dropping it on the ground, and it turns out you have to open your inventory, right-click it, left-click it, and finally the alarm goes off, and it wakes the residents in the house, and they come to the door, and suddenly there's people there in this abandoned house.
Please wait here, sir. Madam will see you, although I can't see why.
Annita, darling, I have missed you so much.
What are you doing here?
My landlady threw me out. She says I owe her some rent, but you know, all these landladies are... I've always been...
Immature. Yes, immature. You don't only forget to pay the rent, but also your promises and things you should do.
Who, me? I never forgot to do something for you, ever.
Where is my brother, Nick? Where is your friend Annita Argyriou? Kidnapped and you haven't found him. And I'm alone now in Detronics, managing and trying to deal with all the damage that Joyland caused us.
Yes, but you know, I wanted to avoid panic, of course.
Yeah, and everyone now thinks Demetrius is cruising. This drives me crazy. Irresponsible, that's what you are. And you're drunk as well. Useless, irresponsible, dishonest.
Ah, not that. Call me any name, but not dishonest. The search for your brother is still running, you know.
I wonder why I ever loved you.
I wonder the same. I risked my life for you, lost everything. I should have known. I could kill you for that.
Sorry, I'll come later.
And that's not all. I've been receiving some threatening calls and letters. I have to stop searching for my brother or else.
Who is? Who's threatening you? Why didn't you tell me so?
You see what they say? Now I'm afraid of Sa'idi's group.
Why? Ahmed Saidi is caught. He's in jail now.
He may be in jail now, but this group still seems very active. Also recently I had a business proposition from a nephew of Ahmed Saidi, Mira Saidi. He owns a company. They want to buy all the research on Joyland, and besides payment, they also want to offer me protection and help me now that my brother is gone. Of course I said no. I told them I have nothing and that my brother is coming back. They didn't believe me, and they insisted. That's why I'm afraid they know about Dimitri's kidnapping. The reputation of Mira Saidi is not at all good. Nick, I want you to help me. Find who is against me and protect me. You're one of the few who know the real situation with my brother. Concerning your house, don't worry. Stay here as long as you like. The villa is huge. You'll stay in Dimitri's room.
Thanks for the hospitality. And I promise I'll start searching right now. Anyway, this case must be connected with a Cyclopean conspiracy. We're searching with Agents Group Attia. Oh, by the way, we have a meeting at 10 o'clock. Luckily, I remembered. But I must rest a little.
Okay, come with me. I feel so much better now.
Now, we are in the house. A very, very,
A magazine.
very large
I
house,
love
I might add.
magazines.
You must go through this entire house and gather the objects you need to solve the puzzles and use the objects in the right manner. And it's not that freaking easy, you know. You will spend just way too much time looking for what you need. That I do not find that fun. I think that the live action gimmick is cool. You know, I would like to see more of that. I wish that games would incorporate more live action into the games. You know, it just never seems to work out. You know, like the acting, like from that cutscene we just saw. You know, I've seen better acting on PBS, really, to be honest. The acting is pretty damn bad, and with the English dubbing, it makes it seem a little even more off. You know, it's because the lips not matching the words, and I don't know, it just kind of puts you off the whole thing. It seems kind of comical. It's really hard to take seriously with such bad acting. After playing this game a few hours, I'm rating it a 5 out of 10 stars.
The usual stuff.
I'm giving it such a I would say higher rating than I probably would normally for this game because of the concept. I really like the concept of adding, the live action, into the gameplay. It's something that hasn't been done for a while, and people don't do very much, and I would like to see more of it. And one thing I really just can't get over is the difficulty of the puzzles, and the lack of intuitiveness. And that pretty much shaves off a lot of points for me. I would never be able to solve this game without hints or walkthroughs. It would just be completely impossible. I could spend a lifetime being stuck, because I didn't find that one little obscure object or didn't use it correctly. Like I was saying, like you have to use that voice recorder and you have like 4 memory sticks and you have to play the correct memory stick at the right door, and there's a lot of damn doors in this house. And you also have to light the cigar like immediately right after and then use that on the lock. That's pretty damn complicated, You're not, and it's something that you're not going to just know in your mind. There's no hint towards it, at all. So I'm giving this game a bit of a low rating, but I really enjoyed the concept of it all. And I think they could have gone a lot further with this game. They could have really polished it up and made it more intuitive and made it a lot more fun.
Wow.
I know some people out there, they will say, well, that is, how this game was meant to be, it was supposed to be very, very difficult. And I can appreciate that, but there's a difference between difficulty and lack of intuitive puzzles and, just being way too damn hard and way too inside the developer's head.
Perhaps I'm forgetting.
So I'm giving this game 5 stars. I would say it's, probably worth the money. I know that's very subjective because everybody values a dollar differently. But I don't really regret buying it. And I'm going to go ahead and solve this game. But there's a lot better games to be had. And there's even better point-and-click adventure games. Even though they don't incorporate the gimmick of live action, that's pretty much one of the only things this game really has for it. The story's, pretty good, but I really know not as much as I would like to know at this point in the story. And the acting is pretty bad. If they had like some really good actors, you could have probably been drawn in a lot more, So I hope you've enjoyed this review. This is Dark Hostess for the Gamer Down. Now I'm going to close with some of the bloopers. They actually include a lot of bloopers if you go check out the credits in the main menu. So thanks again. Subscribe and thumbs up videos. Take care.
I don't believe it.
I'm a
Dusty. All that's in Conspiracies, too. One.
Annita? Are you coming?
That we found that you're the prime suspect for murder.
Thanos?
Cut it out, Nick. There are witnesses.
Witnesses? Who? What did they say?
Where are you going?
Whatever.
I don't believe this. I was what?
Women.
Well, you can't live with them and you can't shoot them. Where did that come from? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Women.
They're a pain in the ass, but we do need them,
Is he alive?
You come meet me at my... Cut it out. You come and meet me. Let me tell you something. Up yours.